Good evening, CCA Academy. This is Mr. Kwiatkowski coming at you for Senior English. We're going to be talking about two poems today by Jericho Brown. Now, I found him partly by accident through NPR and listening to some of his poems, and I really liked what he was doing. So I want us to look at. He is a contemporary poet. He still alive today, and this is some of his more recent stuff. And so what we're going to be doing is the same thing as usual, but I did add something different here. I want you guys to answer this question. Why does the author explore how we approach death in the form of communication? Both these poems have to do with death in a way. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to actually focus on this one a bit first. All right, I'm going to copy it. We're going to go to a whiteboard here. All right, and I'm going to paste it in. Okay, black text. All right. So this is our poem. It's titled Another Eulogy. Elegy. Okay. Now, first things first, I'm going to put some vocab up over here just so you guys get some basis in this. An elegy is a poem for the dead. Okay. Often respectful and talking about how you miss them and everything. So we're going to be looking at this and kind of trying to figure out what are some of the major images. Put our goals. First goal, major images and details. What stands out, okay? Second goal, develop a theme. All right. So this one I'm going to read out loud. We're going to go into a depth and kind of break it down and go from there. So we want to figure out what is this poem about, what major images or details stand out, and what theme is he kind of deal with? Why write this poem for the dead? So let me get my handy dandy marker here. Another Elegy by Jericho Brown. This is what our dying looks like. You believe in the sun. I believe I can't love you. Always be closing, said our favorite professor before you let the gun go off in his mouth. I turned 29 the way any man turns in his sleep, unaware of the earth moving beneath him, its plates in their places, a dated disagreement. Let's fight it out, baby. You have only so long left, a man turning in his sleep, so I can take a picture. I won't look at it, of course. Is his bad side, his Mr. Hyde, the hole in a husband's head, the O of his wife's mouth. Every night I take a pill. Miss one and I'm gone. Miss two and we're through. Hotels bore me unless I get a mountain view, a room in which my cell won't work, and there's nothing to do but see the sun go down into the ground that cradles us as any coffin can. So, first things first, in reading this, we got this line, any man turns in his sleep. All right, the reason why I'm pulling that out is we got this one right here again, any man turning in his sleep. It's been repeated. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up here, make our notes purple. Notes. Okay, this again will be posted for you guys along with the video. So first things first, we got, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through 7. 6 through 7, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 through 12. So we have this line of any man turns in his sleep, and a variation of it in 11 through 12. So the reason why we pull this out kind of is partly because of how, just giving ourselves a lot of space here to take some notes, is partly what some common metaphor for death is sleep. All right. it's kind of an interesting way to address it. Like, and often people talk about you just go to sleep. And that's partly what death is. And since this is a poem about death, it's important to pull that out. Another line that we want to kind of pull out here is this idea of draw. Mr. Hyde. 12, 13, 14. Line 14. This is actually a allusion. It's a reference to a book titled Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. About a man who actually takes a potion, transforms into a monster who's kind of this alternate personality, and it's two people living inside one body. One is a respectful doctor, while the other one is a horrible person and violent monster. So it's just kind of an interesting thing to pull out. So let's go back to some different things. So this one major image, we got this metaphor for death. Haven't quite built meaning. We're just pulling stuff out right now. All right. So I'm going to pull out the first line. This is what our dying looks like. All right. So this kind of sets up the entire poem and builds its meaning and builds from up there. It's a preview of what is to come. So then we have to ask ourselves, what does dying look like? Well, we already have one, line 6 through 7, line 11 through 12. Any man turns in his sleep. We got that common metaphor for it. All right. But I'm going to go back to line 6 through 7 up there and pull out also then what comes after. Okay. 6, actually a little bit before. I turned 29 the way any man turns in his sleep. All right. So what does this mean? Well, when we grow older, we don't really feel it. Just like we don't feel turning in our sleep. It's often no big moment. Okay. Same thing with about, let's at the slide 7 through 8. Unaware of the earth moving beneath him, its plates in their places, a dated disagreement. Okay. So we don't really feel it. And if we continue on with this idea of death, we really feel death or dying. We feel the pain of it and everything. We can feel that, but it's just an interesting question here to continue on with. Okay. What's that? I said line 14 for Mr. Hyde, 15, 16. 16 through 18. Every night I take a pill. Miss one, and I'm gone. Miss two, and we're through. So a lot of things what this can be is like you taking a pill at night or something like that often can be like you're fighting off a disease. All right. Gone, fighting a disease or disorder. Stay alive. All right. Then that raises the question of what about missing two? What does that mean? It says we're through, but that creates some questions. So that's something to think about and try to build up. What do you think it means by First one, miss one and I'm gone, possibly dying. Miss two and we're through. Well, what if we say I'm gone means it's like kind of in the process of it, and through means there's no chance of coming back. Saved. All right. And we finally get this last one, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 22, 23. The sun goes down to the ground that cradles us as any coffin can. So again, we get this reference to death. Sun dying at the end of the day is related, connected to settling a body in a coffin. So what does all this mean? What can we build with all this? Well, I think there's, let me pull one last quote up here. This is line 3 through 4. Always be closing, said our favorite professor. It's actually line 3 through 5. My bad. All right. And I kind of want to just focus on always be closing. All right. So close, the end, the close of something is the end of it, right? So that's why we get the process of ending things and such. I'm going to pull this up a little bit, get some more in that room. All right. And switch colors. So now we can start building meaning, develop a theme. What is the message they're trying to get with it here? And in a lot of this is kind of a connection to the act of dying. So I'm going to go over to text. First one I'll look at, okay, is the act of dying. What is it? Well, we get any man turns in his sleep, right? As we don't feel it, okay? Simple as missing one thing. Okay. As the sun falls, sets, and it's always happening. We are dying. Always be closing, always be ending. Okay. So that's one thing to think about. And then we also get kind of this lack of fear because of it. Because at no point is the man afraid of death. All right. This poem is kind of talking about it, and it's not afraid. And in a lot of ways, we can see that because of this. All right. That death is natural. It is around us. So, very complex poem. I would love to see what you guys think about this and everything as you build in it and such. I'm going to save this. I will upload all these notes, everything I pulled out for you guys along with this video. All right, but I do want to clear it out and pull up the other one Not going to go into too much more in depth of it, but I do want to read it for you guys, and so you can take a look at it and at least hear it, because that one I want to see what you guys can think of too. It says correspondence. Okay. Actually, I don't need to clear this out. So screen sharing. Actually, we will. Saved. Oops. All right. So this one is correspondence. Again, with our notes. Blue. All right. I am writing to you. So correspondence by Jericho Brown. I'm going to read this out loud, pull out a couple lines for you guys, and then leave it to you. I'm writing to you from the other side of where my body, of my body where I've never been shot and no one's ever cut me. I had to go back this far in order to present myself as a whole being you'd heed and believe. You can trust me when I am young. You can know more when you move your hands over a child, swift and without the interruptions we associate with penetration. The young are hard to kill are hard for you to kill. Maybe harder still to hear a kid cry without looking for a sweet slip in his mouth. Won't you hold him? Won't you coo towards the years before my story is the fault of our imaginations? We can make me better if you'd like. Write back or take a trip. I dressed my wounds with tar and straightened a place for you on the cold side of this twin bed. All right. So, starting off, because I'm a sucker for this, the other side, right? So, the other side is often a reference to death, right? Coming from the other side where ghosts and spirits live and things like that. So, it's kind of interesting to that. And then we can tie that in also into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Line 21. All right. Cold is often something also we also associated with death. Cold and like nothingness. All right. So kind of just want to pull those out here to go forward. All right. So as he in this poem, he talks a lot about where this is a poem of a child writing to an adult, in essence, aware of what is to come. Right. A bit of a warning. Okay, we see that. I am writing to you from the other side of my body where I've never been shot and no one's ever cut me. All right. So back before everything bad happened. And so why talk about this? Why from then? Well, he wants the speaker wants to warn themselves of the future. Right? I had to go back this far in order to present myself as a whole being you'd heed and believe in. Right? This also implies that hurt, injured. Okay. So the young are hard for you to kill. Maybe harder still to hear a kid cry without looking for a sweet to slip into its mouth. Won't you hold him? Won't you coo towards the years before my story is the fault of our imaginations? We can make me better if you'd like. Right back. Take a trip. Okay. All right. I dressed my wounds with tar and placed straight into place for you on this cold side of the twin bed. So, all right. What is being warned? Self. Okay. These are some things to think about. I don't want to go too much into this because I do want to see what you guys can come up with. This one I feel is a bit more straightforward and then some of its images. So make a connection about, think about the following, all right? First thing, how do we treat injured kids versus injured adults, right? How do we do with that? What leads us to where we are today? Okay. And why should we listen to a younger version of ourselves? So the last bit here is the connection to death. Again, got that stuff at the beginning. So in a way, this is a letter from the dead youth of the speaker. All right. That they are no longer the same person in a sense. So then, hence that person is dead. And so I think I'm gonna stop there. Again, this one's a bit more, this one I think is a bit more straightforward. Its imagery is a bit more complex in its thoughts, but I want to see what you guys can come up with. I am looking for at least 5 things per poem. All right. So 5 things per poem and answer my question. Back to it. Why does the author explore how we approach death in the form of communication? So why do these both as a form of communication? All right. I'm going to share it, save this, upload it with this video, and then you guys can get to work. So have a wonderful day. Take care. I look forward to your answers.